OK, let's get a bit more on this. We're joined by European football expert Kevin Hatchard. Good morning to you, Kevin.
Morning, Kevin. How are you?
Morning, guys. Very well, thank you.
Great.
Very well.
Is that a fair comment from Martin Yall? Kevin, is he the best going at the moment?
He's one of the brightest young football minds there is, I think. I think he's shown that over quite a few years, because people look at his age, his mid-30s, and think, well, he must be a rookie in management terms, but that's not the case with him. He got the Hoffenheim job at 28, became the youngest ever Bundesliga coach at the time. And he took on quite a tough job there with some big personalities, and he was able to keep them up. And they went from strength to strength after that. He qualified for the Champions League, not once, but twice, got knocked out of the playoffs once by Liverpool, and then got to the group stage the next time. Did well at Leipzig, as Martin Jol was saying, got to the semi-finals of the Champions League with them. Also got to the cup final. And at BeIN, won the league last year. I think BeIN have made a mistake. I think if they kept him, he could have built something lasting, but BeIN's a place where you're never 100% on solid ground.
What? That's the thing I'm trying to get my head around, Kevin. I mean, I'm no doubt in his talent, absolutely, without, and there's vast improvement in him because of his age. But what was the deal at BeIN? You hear all sorts of stories. Were the players in the dressing room not happy with him? Then I heard another story that he had this new girlfriend, and who I believe is now his ex-girlfriend, used to work with one of the German newspapers, and there was stories getting leaked. Is it something to do with that?
I think it's an amalgamation of factors. His relationship with Lena Würzenberger, I think, what was a part of it. That's what a lot of people are saying, that because he was with her, some players felt that, were conversations going to stay private, but there's no confirmation of that. That's all innuendo and whispers around the club. But BeIN runs on that kind of stuff. There are always stories about which player's not happy, which player is happy. And the thing about Nagelsmann is he's always been a guy that's happy to mix and match his team depending on what the opposition is. But if you've got players at BeIN who are used to more consistent selection, then that's a bit jarring for them. I think he was trying things tactically that at some stages were working, but at others not. So, for example, brilliant against Paris in the Champions League, managed to nullify them over two legs. But then some of the performances in the Bundesliga, lost away at Bayer Leverkusen, had a run of draws early in the season. Sadio Mane was out injured for a few months as well. So, I think if they'd stayed the course and stuck with it, I think they would have won the league. I think they would have had a great chance of winning the Champions League as well. But they've taken the easier route, and they were always quite attracted by the idea of having Thomas Tuchel in.
Tell me more about Thomas Tuchel. He's making a few headlines this morning as well, saying that he wants to raid Chelsea, but particularly Anthony Barry, assistant coach, and apparently Chelsea a little bit disappointed. What do you think about that story?
Yeah, it's quite an intriguing one. I mean, he was always going to want to bring in people he'd worked with successfully, and he did have a successful spell at Chelsea. There's no question about that. I mean, it wasn't to do with results why he went earlier this season. Doesn't seem like this season, does it? It seems about 5 seasons ago. But that was based on a personality clash, and I think that's a really interesting thing going forward, because all the things I've talked about whispers around BeIN, how it works, how you've got to really somehow fight fires and keep on top of things at BeIN. He's an abrasive guy, we know that, but he's also a very successful guy. And that's why BeIN were attracted to him. They tried to sign him just before he went to Paris Saint-Germain, and he ended up making the move there because he didn't want to wait any longer for BeIN to make a decision. So they've been wanting to bring him in for a long time. And the irony is, it was the fact that Tuchel was very strongly linked with the Tottenham job that seems to have made them pull the trigger on Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann could actually be the guy who ends up at Tottenham.
Oh, I do love a merry-go-round. It's fabulous, isn't it? What do we think as well, like in terms of moving forward and players moving to different clubs? Jude Bellingham is a name that hasn't really left the headlines for the last year, feels like, or even longer. What do we think for his future?
Well, he has tried to block out all the noise. I was told a couple of months ago that that's very much what he was trying to do. All of the speculation, who's ahead of who, where is he going to go? He's ignored all of that, and he's focused very much on playing, and it's worked because he's part of a Borussia Dortmund team that's top of the league. I'll be in Munich to see them play BeIN at the weekend in that massive game. And he's obviously played very well for England as well. What I do know is that Dortmund haven't totally given up on trying to keep him. They know that there are big clubs interested. They know that there's going to be a move to the Premier League at some stage in his future, but they would like him to sign a new deal, possibly with a release clause in there. And we'll see where it goes. And obviously, them being top of the league and doing well doesn't do them any harm.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Kevin, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time this morning, Kevin. Have a good day, mate.
Guys.
All the best.
See you later.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.